Dallas Morning News has a direct message to the governor of Texas, and it reads in part like this. Governor Abbott, you responded that this was an unspeakable tragedy. We tell you that it was not unspeakable and that the people of Texas need you to speak to it and its cause. There is nothing conservative about refusing to acknowledge evidence or give voice to the true nature of a problem. You must speak to the terrible imbalance that you and Republican leaders have created between the individual liberty of nearly unrestricted ownership of the most powerful rifles and guns versus the increasing decline in society's ability to function without constant fear of violent death. This has to stop. You cannot say this is unspeakable tragedy and move on. A leader must have the courage to speak. You must look at this horror, at the devastation wrought on these people, and you must summon the will to act to change the laws that have put us in this terrible place. And you know what he and other Republicans would say to that. You know what he would say. He would say, mental health, look over here.
Nobody believes it.
Well, what's he doing about mental health, by the way?
Nobody believes it. Nobody believes it anymore. I look at funding in Texas for mental health. Compare it to other states. I'm sure it's near the bottom or close to the bottom. I mean, there's always this talk about mental health. Anytime you corner somebody in a debate about weapons of war, and how little children are being slaughtered, and how worshipers are being slaughtered in churches, in synagogues, at country music festivals, at shopping malls, and they have nowhere to go. They go, oh, mental health, ignoring the fact that there are mental health problems in London, there are mental health problems in Paris, there are mental health problems across Europe. But the United States, far and beyond any other industrialized country, any other Western country, the numbers are staggeringly high here compared to everywhere else, where they have as many mental problems as the United States does. And Elise Jordan, you have a group of migrants being run down and killed. Look at this. U.S. has by far the highest child and teen firearm mortality rate among peer countries. Our little children are being slaughtered, and Greg Abbott has nothing to say about it. He just wants to change the subject. But after Greg Abbott cynically, cruelly looked at a rampage inside of a home where a child and his mother and family slaughtered by an AR-15. And yes, an illegal immigrant. The question is, how did he get that AR-15? The governor cynically and cruelly focused on the immigration status of these poor people and that little boy that were slaughtered and called them illegal immigrants. Right off the top. Just inhumane. But you wanted to focus on that. Illegal immigrants. So is it any surprise that we have migrants being run over? Since with this sort of lack of leadership, this sort of cynicism, this sort of hatred in Texas, is it any surprise that we have migrants on Sunday morning, some of them probably going to church, getting run over while they're waiting for a bus? Or that we have neo-Nazi sympathizers, possible white supremacists going to malls to gun down other people? I mean, there is a sickness in the state of Texas, and that sickness starts at the very top with Greg Abbott, who refuses to protect little children in the state of Texas, whether it's at school or whether it's at church or whether it's at shopping malls or even inside their own homes.
Joe, how is this anything but homegrown extremism? How are we not responding to this in a way equal to after 9/11? I mean, took that terrorist threat pretty seriously, perhaps, went a little overboard in some areas, but that's another here and there. But we just sit around and do absolutely nothing while these high capacity magazines are freely available for assault rifles and assault weapons. And I just, how does this 33-year-old have a tactical vest? How does he have this kind of gear? How is it so readily available that a normal citizen can outgun a cop? You heard that bystander talking about what they saw, and the child covered in so much blood he couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl, a 4-year-old. And yet we are doing absolutely nothing differently. Takes a while to get a driver's license and you can fail that test, but apparently anyone can have a gun pretty much in this country.
Just like you have to wear a seatbelt. But, are people allowed to walk around with bombs, live grenades? Because if you look at the destruction that these AR-15 style weapons are causing upon the human body, this makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and everybody should go back and they should look at the Washington Post article that studies the difference between an AR-15 bullet when it enters the human body and other bullets. It so clearly was designed as a weapon of war, which it was, a weapon of war. And its only use is to kill multiple people.
And that is what has happened.
As quickly as possible. That is its only use. I've said it time and time again, as somebody that owns guns, if you want to stop by somebody in your house, if there's an intruder in your house, take out the shotgun. Hard to miss. Does the job, and does the job better than an AR-15 inside close quarters. Anybody that knows anything about guns can tell you that. But anyway, Rev, after 9/11, we did everything we could do. Elise said some people suggested that we did too much. Dick Cheney talked about the 1% solution. If there was a 1% chance that something bad was going to happen, he was going to do everything to stop that 1%. Here we are in 2023, and people are getting gunned down every day in states like Texas. And 90% of Americans want universal background checks. 75% of Americans want red flag laws. The majority of Americans want military-style weapons like AR-15s banned. And what do Republicans say, other than the 10 who voted for reform in the Senate? What do Republicans say? We can't do anything. We're helpless. I'm sorry, 80% want red flag laws. They say we can't do anything. We're weak. We're inept. We're just pathetic legislators that can't stop the killing of little children. There's nothing we can do. I mean, Americans don't think this way, Rev. Americans have never thought this way, especially when their loved ones are being slaughtered. And yet that's what Republicans want us to think, because they care more about the gun lobby and gun manufacturers making money than they do protecting little children in malls, little children in churches, little children in synagogues, and little children even inside their own homes.
It is almost as if you would say, on one hand, you have a gun, another hand, your child, and you show more love to the gun than your child. I mean, it is really that serious. And for Governor Abbott to try and duck the issue by saying we need to deal with the mental health issue, all of us want to deal with the mental health issue. You're hosting a special on that tonight, prime time. But that does not address what is available now. If you really believe there was a mental health issue, Governor Abbott, and there is, that's all the more reason why you wouldn't have AR-15 and military weapons available to people until we deal with the mental health issue. It is absolutely insulting to our intelligence to leapfrog the immediate to deal with the justified long-term problem of mental health. And for these people to be sitting in a state that has seen this consistently happen right in their state, at some point they're going to have to rise up and put people in office that will deal with the issue and not try to kick the can down the road.